This is Hidden Killers Live with Tony Bruschi, Stacey Cole, and Todd Michaels.
Let's move over to another case, another missing person that, or not missing person, but another case where they're no longer with us, and we don't know the answers to what's going on. And it involves a celebrity. There's a moment in every investigation where the silence gets louder than the facts. And right now, in the death of 14-year-old, 13 when she died, Celeste Rivas Hernandez, is silenced from the Los Angeles Police Department. It's kind of deafening. They've now doubled down on their earlier statement, saying it stands on its own. That statement, for anyone who hasn't been tracking every beat of this case, boils down to something stark. The medical examiner still hasn't determined Celeste's cause or manner of death. And without that, the LAPD says the only confirmed criminal act this time is basically the concealment of a body. That's it. A girl found inside the front trunk, the frunk of a Tesla, registered to David, severely decomposed. Stuffed in a bag, allegedly. And officially, the only thing they can point to today is that somebody hid her body. No homicide charge, no manslaughter, no negligence, not yet. And that gap between what the public sees and what the victim deserves and what the system is currently willing to call a crime is enormous. It's painful. And it raises questions about the absolute demand for answers. Jennifer Coffindaffer, retired FBI special agent, is with us to break this one down. You've been tracking this case on your own for a while, pretty much since it started making headlines here. Let's start with that LAPD statement. They doubled down on that September release, basically saying cause and manner still undetermined, and the only provable act is concealment of a body. What does that kind of language tell you as an investigator?
Well, this is what this is saying. Shut up, leave us alone. We'll get back to you when we have some. Okay? Yeah. That's what that statement says in a very nice way. I mean, look, they have to have a anthropologist, forensic anthropologist, break down the 70 pounds of matter that they have, and that's all they have. They have to have a forensic entomologist look at what bugs are eating her up when they found her, to figure out possibly when she actually died and everything they can figure out from those bugs. That toxicology, I guarantee they've known her tox for probably weeks. They just haven't released it. That's critical as well. You put that all together, and I'm going to give you another analogous case. Suzanne Morphew. Suzanne Morphew, tranquilizer gun, purportedly killed, charged, malfeasance by the prosecutor, charges dismissed, and then they found the body. When they found that body, they did all of this I'm just telling you about, toxology, which led to that tranquilizer. They found, they were able to do the bug guy and the anthropologist, and they were able to make a case. Guess how long that took from found in the grave, even with everything they had before that, which they had dozens and dozens of pages of probable cause in one of the longest probable cause affidavits I've ever seen. Guess how long it took? I can't wait to hear your guesses. From when they found her body to when they indicted her husband again.
That was quite a bit. That was many months, wasn't it? I mean, was it more than a year?
21 months.
21 months from identifying the BAM in her bones, basically, which was the sedative that was in the tranquilizer dart that they claim he had on him. Is that because it took that long to get those sort of results out of the anthropologic technology? Yep.
It took the anthropologist that long. It takes the toxicologist that long with that sort of, uniqueness. And then, like I said, these bug doctors tell a lot, what's eating your flesh.
It's disgusting, but it's a very accurate science.
It's accurate. It takes forever. It takes a long time, that forensic anthropology, unless it's something obvious like a gunshot wound. That's why Brian Laundrie, they came back in, no time because his skull was fractured. But other than that, if it's nothing like that, if it's something more systemic, it's going to be much tougher to tell.
So what is it going to tell us? If we don't know what it's going to tell, but what can it tell us? What are the possibilities that are going to come back from the forensic anthropologist once they have their results?
Well, a couple of things. One of the top things that everybody's been discussing from minute one is whether she was dissected, dismembered, however you want to term it, whether she was dismembered. They are going to look, and the only way to dismember somebody typically is with a tool. So they're going to be looking for those tool marks to dismember. Are they there? Are they not? In other words, if she just fell apart from, decay, that would be far different from being dismembered. So they're going to be.
That's a felony, right? I mean, you can't dismember a body in that state, can you, without it becoming a felony?
Yeah, of course, yeah, and exactly to your point. So now they're going to have something to really work with, even though, and I know we've talked about this, it was reported early on by the local station before they ever knew her name was Celeste Rivas.
Yeah.
The day this was reported was the first day I reported on it, not even knowing it was Celeste Rivas, not even knowing who David was.
Yeah.
Just it was a body because they were begging the public for help back in the day one, right? And one of the things they released, multiple things, right? 70 pounds, that tattoo that was on the finger, and dismembered body. And of course, you all featured my very scientific showing of how you can't fit a 5'1.5",
Yes,
110-pound human into a frunk. I stick by that, unless they, broke her down or dismembered her. And we have the pictures of the bag in the frunk in that junkyard, so we have it.
Yeah, you were breaking that down on your show the other day, Break the Case with Jennifer Coffindaffer, which you can get wherever you get podcasts and on YouTube. Tell me about that. Tell me about those pictures that you were looking at and breaking down.
Well, yeah, when you look at this picture, first of all, I do want to say this is the latest model Tesla, and they did increase the frunk space by about 2 cubic feet to accommodate, quite frankly, golf clubs.
Or body.
Yeah, no, you could still only get golf clubs in there.
Okay.
I mean, who's the size of a golf club unless you're like 5?
Yeah.
Our dimensions just don't work. So, I said, unless they literally
or a child.
Yeah.
If you're on our other story, if you're the other case, our buzzard issue.
Yeah, I mean, you're just not going to be able to fit a full grown there. But nevertheless, I just wanted to say that for anybody going, oh, but Jennifer, I know he had the latest model. And so, yeah, I've looked that up, and you can look it up.
Okay.
I really want to find one of those and jump into that just to show all the naysayers. You can get clubs.
See what a Tesla dealership doing that.
Well, I wanted to do it. I've just been too dang busy. But the minute I get the chance, I'm going to. Believe me, you'll see part 2.
You're going to be on a list quick.
It was funny. I was with my closest friends of 20 years and over the weekend in a celebration. And anyway, I told them about this. And they're all very normal people. They're not into true crime. They're just rich people, right? They're like, you had Thad do what? Of course, they feel terrible for my poor husband because they're like, how did you convince him to do that? And I said, he's so sweet. I begged him. And because I wanted to make the point. And literally, we as investigators, as FBI agents, number one thing you use if you're successful is common sense.
Yeah.
And you say, that just isn't going to work, but let's make sure that I'm not. And how can a 5'3" brawny David, who, as far as I know, doesn't work out. He's never talked about working out, but I've seen him many times, extremely under the influence and everything else. He doesn't seem like the healthiest guy, let's just say. Is he going to pick up somebody his approximate size when somebody who's 5'10", 180 can't do that to me?
Sure.
Because I'm slippery and everything else, dead weight. But all that aside, the whole point is when you break down the pictures of her in that trunk or in that frunk, if you look at that bag, it seems to have a lot of excess room in it. The one that she's in, the actual frunk bag of Celeste Rivas, not the one I did, the one of her.
Sure.
And remember, they said the remains were only 70 pounds. So basically half of her weight. Why? So much decomposition. And remember, as far as we know, at least the last picture seen by the PI that went into the place, her last photo was taken on January 2nd. Just think of the decomposition that would take place during all that time, found in September.
I don't know the answer to that, and I'm sure conditions have a lot to do with it. I would imagine a trunk, it's sealed off fairly. I don't know how sealed off. I would imagine it's fairly sealed off from a lot of things getting into it, but, nature will do its course of whatever. And then for a body to break down to 70 pounds from whatever she was, I'm assuming probably close. Do we know what she originally was? Close to 100, somewhere around there, I'm going to guess. I mean, just looking at her pictures, that'd be my guesstimate. What's that?
110 to 115. I'm going to say approximate size.
So we're talking losing roughly 30, 40 pounds of body weight due to decomposition. How long would that take? How long do you think that would take in an environment like that? Essentially, it would be a small oven in the California heat out there, which, that certainly does a lot for breaking down tissue and basically cooking someone for months. I'm wondering how long would that take, would you think? Well,
a couple of factors there, right? Again, we talked about the bugs and we talked about the heat and the plastic.
Yeah.
Since in law enforcement, when we go in and we take anything that's biodegradable, we do not put it in plastic because it increases the rate of it degrading.
Yeah.
We use paper for things even like blood, even like hair. It can only go in paper. So it's because we as investigators know that rapidly accelerates decomposition. I obviously am not a forensic anthropologist, but I can tell you that it would break down that body so quickly in that environment, so much more quickly compared to, say, a dry situation. And I'll give you another good analogy. Do you remember Gene Hackman and his wife?
No.
Yeah.
Right? They were found in the house, and they had been there for weeks and weeks and weeks, but it was dry, and they were basically mummified. So they were really decomposed. They were mummified in almost a similar state as to when they died, right? And so that's the juxtaposition between moisture, heat, being confined, bugs taking over, that Celeste was in.
And I'm thinking that's what a lot of people, as they try to run this through their mind of, well, why couldn't they tell if she was in the trunk for that long? I think a lot of people go to mummified and they think, well, it's going to be stiff, it's going to be dried up. No, I'm not trying to be gross here, but if she's in this bag, she was pretty much a pile of goo and bones, I would imagine at that point. If you've ever, and I'm thinking in terms of cooking, these are the only times I've ever dealt with bones as like a turkey or something, or something where here's a good example. Your big old Tupperware, okay? You put it in, you got extra turkey. Maybe it's a chicken or something. And you put it in your fridge. It ends up in the back of the fridge, maybe your basement fridge or your garage fridge or whatever. Oh my God. The turkey is still there from Thanksgiving and it's Easter. And you're like, oh, I need that container. We need to really clean that thing out strategically. And you go in there and it was at one time a whole turkey or pieces of it that were together, and then you go to lift it out and it smells but you lift one piece up and just the bones come off, everything just comes apart because that's what it is. It's broken down. It's become this gelatinous mess. You're not going to tell how that turkey died anymore. You're not even going to tell what it was cooked in anymore unless you go to the breakdown, the chemical breakdown, the anthropologic breakdown, which could tell you some of those things. But even then, it can't tell you everything because the breakdown is so dramatic. That essentially is what we're talking about here of the body of Celeste Rivas Hernandez. And maybe also why early on, I'm going to say, maybe is that why you think some of the reports were saying that she was dismembered? Do you think that might have been maybe a misunderstanding, maybe an early investigator misspeaking because the body parts were coming apart and they're like, oh, she was dismembered and this is kind of leaked out and it was more so, no, she's been basically cooked.
Okay, any investigator, and the only investigator out there that would have looked at this would have been somebody in that homicide unit.
Yeah.
They're going to know the difference, I believe, between a decomposed body that is fallen apart, so to speak, as opposed to a dismembered body.
Yeah.
And you're going to know, you're going to see tool markings on the body. That's going to make it very clear that this was somebody dismembered versus somebody that just fell apart. So I believe that they would know. I really do, because you're cutting bones and everything, and the bones would still be there. At least some of them. There were 70 pounds.
But I'm saying, what if you're not cutting? What if they're just there? I mean, again, let's do a turkey challenge. Let's both buy a turkey and let's put it in a hot box until Easter, and then I'll carve it and you don't carve yours. And then, or then you take it out and see, can you tell which one was carved or not? Or which one they just slowly kind of decomposed and deteriorated. If you don't hit the bone, I don't know that you would necessarily know that. I mean, I'm sure if you're a person that studies it, you would. I'm just wondering, somebody on the back end of this, somebody who's working in conjunction with this, and they're like, well, this body part's over here now, and this is over there. If they're thinking, oh, well, it dismembered, but really it's just because they got cooked.
You know what? I will take you on with that.
Oh, boy.
Let's cook some turkeys in our trunks, Jen.
I will say that it can be even lesser time and more dramatic situation. I agree with the Tupperware. We need to take a Cornish hen. You take a Cornish hen, a little bitty Cornish hen, and you don't do anything to yours.
Okay.
And put it in and put it in a very, very hot place that you can't smell, because it's going to get smelly within about 3 days. The hottest place you can. And I know exactly where I'm putting mine.
You're going to do this, aren't you? You're really going to do it. She's going to do it. She got in a frunk.
I'm going to cut mine.
Okay.
And you're not going to cut yours.
Okay.
And then we're going to look in 3 weeks at our Cornish hens. And I guarantee I'm going to be any naked eye, anybody that is going to see those cut marks on those bones.
Well, we'll check in 3 weeks. You will. Let's see Easter. Like, we gotta keep this thing there, because if we're assuming that her body was in that trunk or frunk for damn near half a year, so maybe 4th of July. We'll get our Cornish hens out.
We'll do the 4th of July. I think this will be interesting.
Where are you putting it? We gotta have similar heat on this. We're going into winter.
Yeah, this is going to be hard.
We're going into winter. Listen, it's not going to be perfect, but both of our Cornish hens are going to be severe. Oh, we need to weigh them before they go in. Are going to be severely decomposed. And to our point that we would be trying to make is, would an investigator know whether that was decomposition or whether that was purposeful chopping?
All right. You get your Rubbermaid, I'll get mine. You get your Cornish hen, and I'll get mine. And we'll find places to put them. Although, wouldn't the gases make the top of the Rubbermaid explode at some point?
It's possible.
No, we'll be fine.
No?
It's a Cornish hen.
We'll burp and seal it.
Listen, I'm not going to touch mine again till the 4th of July.
All right. I can't wait. I'm going to take it out right with the appetizers. Hey, everybody, Cornish hen. We talked about this right before Thanksgiving of last year. It's all ready to go.
Going to need a hazmat suit.
To it. Can't let the I mean, mine's going outside in this little place I have. It'll be perfect.
Yeah. You're in Florida, though, aren't you?
That Cornish hen will likely be in Florida.
Okay.
There's
Mine's in
crocodiles
Northwest Arkansas, but all right. We'll see if as long as the crocodile doesn't get it.
Oh, or is it alligator? Now I'm confused.
Alligators. Yeah.
Alligators. Sorry about that.
There are some crocs here, believe it or not, in the bayous. There are
Yeah.
some in the
Really?
Everglades. In the Everglades, yeah, there are. That's what those pythons are eating that right now.
Oh, yeah. Oh, yeah, you
Pythons are
get a
out.
python mixed in this too. That would be it. Send me a python, Jen. Send me a python, and I'll just put a python out, and you put a python out.
Whoa.
It is. I mean, as silly as it is, obviously, it's horrible what we're looking at here. At the end of the day, do you think we're ever going to see anyone charged with a crime here, or is this going to be something where there's a concealment of a body? I don't know. I mean, I'm wondering, was a crime committed here other than concealment of a body, or was this a combination of really bad choices? Someone died unexpectedly, and nobody wanted to be accountable for having the death of a runaway underage child with them, and they thought, well, let's hide it. And I don't. The only thing I'm wondering about is, was their strategy evolved of putting this thing in the back of a trunk, hoping for this exact process to take place, basically the cooking of the body, so that it was unrecognizable, and any sort of forensic details that would have existed in terms of abuse or anything, if that was there, would have all basically melted away.
Well, and I want to be clear on just one thing. All we know is the January 2nd date, again, according to what would have been left in the mansion. So there could have been pictures of her, and she could have been alive after that.
Sure.
I'm just saying that's the only fact we have to go on. Go on the fact that we know. Secondarily, I guarantee you there will be charges. There will be charges, and I think there'll be charges against more than one person. I think there'll be multiple people involved. As far as what will those charges be, minimally, the concealment of a body, desecration of a body, possibly, and then murder, possibly, depending on what that forensic anthropologist says.
Yeah. Is there any, just because David's name is linked to the vehicle, does that mean there'd be a charge against him for just owning the vehicle? If he had no physical involvement or awareness of any of this, or does it all come down to any sort of awareness that he would have had of any of this going on?
What it's going to come down to is, would he be able, if he weren't the main person doing this, would he be able to be charged with conspiracy? And Tony, to be charged with conspiracy, you need 2 overt acts. So what were those overt acts? Were they letting him have the car? That's an overt act. Were they showing anything? Overt acts can be the smallest of things. Driving somebody. So we know that somebody drove that car and parked it. How did they get to that car? You know, it's his car. So I see very possibly a conspiracy type situation following him, because all you need are 2 of the. You can have a text message. That's an overt act. Telephone call. So there's not much they have to prove conspiracy. So basically, if he knew about it and conspired in any way to make that body disappear or go into that trunk, he's going to be in trouble. But
if he's clueless?
He's not clueless.
I'm just saying if. We don't know, because we don't know the answer to that. I mean, these people have big circles and posses around them of people that all have, their own selfish needs and wants and desires of what they're doing. And they're, either they're cozying up to celebrity for that, or they're an employee, and that's part of what they do. And they just kind of go from person to person. So I don't think we do know that for sure. I think there's a possibility that we don't know the answer, that he thought, well, she went off back home or did whatever, and that groupie's gone now or whatever, and there's no knowledge. I think there's a real possibility there that then somebody else in the crew got her hands on her, but we don't know.
Oh gosh, where's my $120,000 Tesla? Dang, I guess I just lost it.
Right.
All right, moving on.
I know.
Who does that?
No one does. He knew that Tesla was gone. It is a common sense Occam's razor. That's this case. Beeline, light on him being involved in some way, in my opinion.
You got a good point. I mean, he was a celebrity. He is a celebrity. He has some fame. He has some money. He doesn't have that kind of money where you're missing a Tesla, where you wouldn't be aware that your $100,000 car is being used. But again, here, let me go the other way too. Oh, let me let my best friend or good friend or manager, whoever, use the Tesla. I can't use it right now. I'm on tour. I'm on this bus. You want to go use it while I'm gone? Go for it. He knows what he thinks it's being used by someone that's not putting a body in the trunk. I don't know.
All right. I'm just going to say this as a Tesla owner. Everything to do with that Tesla is on my phone.
Yeah.
Everything. So my Tesla tells me it's open, it's closed, somebody's next to it, whatever's happening with it. It's all, you open it, you close it, you lock it. Everything's done on your phone. So when he just got rid of the app and just erased everything about his Tesla, if not, he's going to be lit up with every time somebody opens that Tesla door. So I can't go with the ignorance is bliss, Tony.
Unless he's
I
on
can't
tour
either,
and
but
doesn't want the alerts, though.
Yeah, what if you turn off alerts?
I turn off alerts all the time.
I don't.
I'm not buying.
I'm just trying to look at it from all angles on this.
I agree, and I know I don't mean to be obtuse. Because believe me, I'm not saying that I don't think others are involved. I'm very clear on this, that it's more than one person involved. And I think once they figure out who was involved, at least with concealment of the body, and they start pulling people in, we're going to know a lot, because people are going to start, he did it. He told me to do it. But we're waiting for that rock solid case. It's just going to take a while. It could take 2 years, just like Morphew.
And if people start leaking, we haven't seen any of that yet. But at some point, people start talking in something like this. You can only keep a secret for so long. And there are certainly human beings that are aware that something happened here. Exactly what is the question. Mm-hmm. All right, go get that Cornish hen. And I will get mine as well. It'll be great. It'll be the weirdest text back and forth, you and me sending pictures of decomposing Cornish hens in various states over the next 6 months. Not strange at all.
You know what'll be interesting, Tony, though, I have to say, is at what point would it not smell anymore?
Oh, boy.
I don't think there is a point where it doesn't smell anymore.
Years.
Point. There for sure is a point. Remember, I'm a farm girl. Grew up on a farm, doing everything with animals from the standpoint of killing them, slaughtering them, eating them, keeping them.
Yeah.
All of that. And there is a point where you have carcasses and they don't smell anymore.
But that'd be like sun dried, you know? I mean, if you froze it, if you put the Cornish hen in a freezer and did it, the smell would go. But I think what we're doing, keeping it at like air temperature of like 60-ish or more degrees in a Tupperware, that shit's gonna smell until they'll smell until we're dead. Like that thing's never gonna. It'll take some time.
What do you see on that, Tony? You know what? So July 4th is our D-Day, unless we get more information.
Yeah.
If we hear more information that the timeline has changed and they have a picture of her in June, we need to adjust our timeline.
All right, then we'll pop open the Cornish hen sooner and at a dinner party with our favorite guests. Hey, everybody. Pop and seal. There you go. All right, Jennifer Coffindaffer, retired FBI special agent. Thank you, as always, for coming on and giving us your insight into all this, and I'm excited about the hens. Until next time, for Jen, for Stacy and Todd, I'm Tony Bruschi. We'll talk again real soon.
Want more on this case and others? Then press subscribe now and don't miss a moment of true crime coverage from Tony Bruschi and the Hidden Killers podcast.